Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number S211A. This is a saddle style threshold. It's a smaller in terms of the width than most saddle thresholds, only because you generally want something about the size of the frame. Well, that is indeed the case for this threshold because the jam depth on this frame is about 3 inch. It's a very, very small single rabbet frame that is being used. This is a steel frame, although we've done stainless steel versions of this same frame in the past. Single rabbet, 1.75 inch thick fiberglass door, stainless hinges going into a cab of a crane. So it is a small, it is a very small jam depth on the frame that this is going in. So that's why this is a little bit smaller. The fact of the matter is, it's not unusual to have small thresholds in instances where you just need to kind of close up an area under a door where that door resides. You could have a residential application with a bungalow home in Chicago, and the walls are incredibly thick, because it's construction from 1910. And the placement of the door in this deep frame is generally unusual, biased heavily towards the inside. You might have a situation where you kind of just need to get a threshold underneath the door because that pour on the outside comes up to the face of the door, but there's really then nothing underneath. Anyway, office doors. I've had people install very small thresholds under an office door in a manufacturing facility just to help deaden the transmission of sound. So the S211, that means that this threshold is 3 inch wide and 3/8 of an inch tall. Now the A in the part number stands for mill aluminum finish, and that is indeed what this one is, mill aluminum finish. This is also available in the D finish, which would be a dark bronze finish from Reese. A very, in the world of aluminum as it pertains to weather stripping manufacturers and their bronze or dark bronze, there's light all the way to very dark approaching black, and then everyone in the middle. Reese is at the resides in that part of that spectrum of the lightest of all. So if you're looking for a dark bronze to match an oil rubbed bronze finish, like a 613 finish, Reese would be an exceptional choice. If you need something incredibly dark, Reese would not be a good choice because their material does have hints of a golden brown color to it, although it's still solidly dark bronze. So we talked about where you're going to use this, lots of places. This happens to be a short one. This door is only 2'4" wide. This is listed in the site in lots of different lengths. If you have need for a custom length, like this client did, order the next longest piece or pieces and simply indicate in the comment field the net length that you'd like for us to cut the material back to, and we'll be certainly happy to oblige. There is a link below this video to the product catalog, and let's take a look at that now. Okay, now that link to the product catalog is down here. First of all, installation instructions. This is a very typical document, and it is actually included with the threshold. Measure, cut to length, notch if necessary. And notching would really be an appropriate application if you have a jam that is going to be, let's get a little bit longer here. So if your door is going to reside in here, okay, you very likely want to have your threshold. It's going to run, well, it could be notched a lot of ways. You could go with a very large threshold. Here are the flutes and the threshold. You could have the factory literally notch it around your stop. You could also do a situation where you might want the threshold to run the entire width and then have it notched around here, however it's going to run. Here are your flutes on top of a fluted threshold. Some people like this because they can protect the base of the sill a little, the base of the jam a little bit better and caulk inside of there. Okay, so lots of notching can indeed be done. Generally, you're just simply going to find a threshold installed, quite frankly, something like this, and it'll have a small L notch on it, and that's just how that'll be. Okay. Now, back to the product brochure that we have here. Now, that is going to show the S211, which is on the second page of at least the current document, showing here. Now, you see you've got variations. This is called a saddle threshold because if you use your imagination, it looks like a saddle. You've got the more common sizes, 1/2 inch tall, in a 4-inch, 5-inch. Well, that's a bad example of 5-inch. This is a very common example of 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, 8-inch. This is an exceptional example of a heavy-duty version. If you're doing a car showroom or you're going to drive fork trucks over it, you'll certainly want to consider something robust like this. Okay. Now, 1/2 inch is handicap compliant. Back when an ADA was originally passed, it was 1/4 inch. Well, 1/2 inch is compliant as long as this slope is compliant with the governed formula for that slope. And actually, I can tell you what that is. I don't remember what it is, but let's dig it up. So, thresholds at doorways shall be 1/2 inch maximum in height. Raised thresholds and changes in level at doorways shall comply with section 302 and 303. So let's get to 302. Okay, so here's the money right here. So as long as your bevel does not exceed a rise of 1 and a run of 2, you're in good shape. And it will certainly be known that the rise dimension and the run dimension would be compliant with that formula. And that's why 1/2 inch is handicap compliant when you have a beveled edge that is in compliance with the 303.3 beveled edge section of the handicap A117 accessible and usable buildings and facilities. It's not a code or a standard, it's federal law, passed in 1991, I believe. It felt like it was 1990, but I think it's 1991. So, as an aside, that's why those thresholds are handicap compliant, and you will indeed see that being the case here. Very interestingly, you see 5/8, and you do not see handicap compliance. Okay. Now, these are the definitions of your finishes. There is no B finish available. B would be made of solid architectural bronze. These are just made of aluminum, the S211. And that document's here to show you the other saddle thresholds. Okay. Now, there is the link here below this video to the manufacturer's page that will allow you to review not only all of the Reese products we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's full-line catalog and a link to their website. As I had said earlier, they have a very, very beautiful dark bronze finish that they have, especially if you're matching something lighter. And I would very much encourage you to review the Reese product line, and here's why. The reason is Reese is the absolute most predictable and reliable manufacturer when it comes to prompt, reliable shipping. There are times when there is not a manufacturer that can hold a batting average anywhere close to Reese. If you're looking for weather stripping, that is an incredibly high quality product, and what I mean by that is if you take a caliper and you measure their extrusions, they are generally thicker than everyone else's. You can just tell when you pick them up that it's heavier, and it's because it's a thicker extrusion. Number one. Number two, their customer service is exceptional. Very no nonsense. Ship it out, done. The only time they can't ship something out very, very quickly is if they simply don't have the material. Now, they're not going to keep 900 feet of this at one time. So if you were trying to order, 200 6-foot pieces, yeah, that's going to be a shortage, okay? But the bottom line is, but they're my go-to when it comes to someone who wants very high quality and needs it to ship reasonably quick, period. The only downside, or at least the time of this video, is that there's it's not a downside, but a thing to understand is they, like almost all manufacturers, probably like all, have a minimum order. So as long as you exceed that minimum order, your product is going to ship very quickly. Again, dark bronze, if you want it light to match 613, go to Reese. The other thing, polyurethane as an insert. Reese uses polyurethane on lots of their products. Polyurethane is the most durable of all inserts that you can have on a piece of gasketing. Incredibly tear resistant, absolutely resistant to, unaffected by ultraviolet, and will not permit growth, germs, bacteria, mold to grow on it. We sell polyurethane all the time to pharmaceutical companies, food processing companies, when they need to, on a very regular schedule, do maintenance where everything is torn down, thoroughly cleaned. That polyurethane is just rock solid for that sort of application. They have STC rated material as well, and it's all in their catalog. This is a company, and I don't say it often, but this is a company that you can depend on. And in the very rare occasion they don't have enough material on hand, you'll know that pretty quickly. Anyway, I would go to them. Any questions on the Reese number S211 and an A mill finish or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.